this computer. All right, so this is Reverend Chris. It is July 3rd, 2019, Hump Day. And this is all of us meeting on Zoom for our Hump Days from now on because Facebook is just messing up too much. And this is a better venue. It is less bandwidth heavy. It's easier for me to manage because I can record it on my laptop and then I can upload it to YouTube. Whereas doing it in Facebook, I had to download it from Facebook if I could even get it downloaded in any amount of time. Then I had to get it re-uploaded to YouTube if I wanted to put it there or do anything else with it. So this works way better for me, and I think for us once we get used to the format, because we can all participate instead of just using the chat board, which I encourage you to use while I'm in the middle of things. If you have a question, especially once we get into the temple and into the meditation, please, if you have something, use the chat board. But other than that, I like this venue a little bit better, actually a lot better than Facebook. And Facebook's just been doing some weird stuff. I don't know if you noticed, but they've gotten rid of the option to see the most recent posts first. You have no choice now. They're telling you what you're going to see. Period, end of story. So that doesn't please me at all either. So anyway, welcome one and all, those that are here now. I'm so glad that you all have joined me. And those that are yet to join today or at a later date. All of your teams know who you are, and they've already set your space, and they are here as placeholders for you so that you can receive the benefit of this meditation whenever it is that you watch it. So today's subject is freedom. And it's, and it's not accidental. I didn't choose it to be cutesy or anything because tomorrow's the 4th of July. This is this is like a crescendo that continuously builds as we've been working through these hump days and working through these last 18 months of the ascension and 5D and energies and vibration rising, all of the changes, all of the fallout, all of the upheaval, rising up, rising up, rising up. So what's the name of the game? What is the ultimate here? Freedom. Freedom from mental domination. Freedom from the bondage of the mind and the ego. Once we get to that place, boy, oh boy, oh boy, as soon as we get to that place, everything else just goes whoof. Because everyone will be able to see things according to its truth. What is really going on? You really seeing what is happening, what the motivations are, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, whether it's aligned with love and light and the Christ consciousness. Everybody is going to see that immediately. No longer will the mainstream media be able to control us with their emotional hooks and herding. That's not going to happen anymore. Hey, Mary, welcome to the party. That's just not going to happen anymore. We won't be there. We won't be available to those hooks. We won't be drawn in by them anymore because we'll see them for what they are. What you want, Mary? Your speaker is on if you're using the speaker.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to let you know I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yep. I saw you. I see you. Like in Avatar. I see you.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is, that's what it's all about. And so the fact that we're doing this on the 4th of July just really ties in with what's happening planet-wide. Ever since the solstice, and now we've had the solar eclipse, ever since those things all came to be, we have just been on this rise, up, 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 up. There's so many changes taking place. I know I can't even keep track of them, and I don't even want to at this point. It's like I'm just surrendering to what is and saying, take me up, beam me up, whatever. Just beam me up, do what you have to do. I'm surrendering to it, and I am just keeping my eye on the prize and just trying to take direction as it's given to me. So that's what our focus is today. We're going to focus on freedom, and we're going to focus on freedom in both the physical plane and in the spiritual higher plane. All right, we're going to go into the meditation, and the angels that are going to come in for the meditation, the Saint Germaine, right? Because he is the overseer, guardian spirit, ascended master of the United States. He was part of the founding of this country and helped to guide the process of the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the way things were put together so that we could move forward in a different way, in a lighter way of being, with more freedoms for people built into our system of being than had ever been anywhere else. And so those freedoms, as they are restored to us, as we take them back, that's part of our ascension, all right, is taking back that freedom and saying, no, you're not going to control me anymore. I'm going to think with my head. I'm not just going to swallow what somebody else tells me or wait for somebody else to tell me what's going on or tell me what I should think. There's so much of that going on. Something's happening, and a person, instead of reading and doing a little bit of research, getting online, because it's all there for all of us, is saying, oh, gee, what does this mean? Tell me. And it's like, look it up. I mean, it sounds mean, it sounds rude, but there are way too many people that have been, and many of us have been trained not to think for ourselves, trained to wait for the instant answer. And we've got to get away from that. We've got to learn to research and think for ourselves and find out for ourselves, whether it is in the factual world of 3D and internet, and whether you're reading things and finding out information here, or whether you're going higher and discerning whether something is true or not true, whether it applies to you, whether you're being told the whole story, if you're only getting half the picture or you're only getting part of the picture so that somebody else can manipulate your thoughts. You're going to know all of that as we move forward and rise up. And so there's that twofold. It's like down here in the physical world where we're being pulled around, right? Or, up in the spiritual plane where we have access, to the information, where we can finally pull ourselves. I don't really like to say that, but, it feels like that. A lot of times energetically, it feels like you're pulling yourself away from ego or other things that are of negative energies or of density. And more than that, it's not a pulling away, even though it feels like that. We're just dissolving it. We're saying we're letting it go. We're dissolving it. We're saying that no longer has validity for me in this timeline, and in the timeline in the life that I have chosen, and the reason that I've chosen to be here now. Those are the freedoms that we are looking for. And like I said, as soon as we get to that point where we are no longer shackled to our minds and the emotional hits, right, that our minds create, our ego is just You know, emotion is all it is. It is, I know I've said this in other videos, but those of you who are new here and may not have been there at those, the way our systems work is the first thing that happens is that when we receive information, it comes into the spiritual layer, the outer layers of our light body, where it just is generally received as being aligned or not aligned with our path and our preferences and where we're meant to be. There are a few adjustments that go on there. It's kind of like the same thing that makes one person decide that they really love piano and the other person be a sports buff. Even though they're both exposed to the same thing, you know, it says these are our preferences. And that's where that outer layer programming of our divine plan and our soul mission is. And then once it comes through that, then it hits the mental layer. That's where the real action is. When we get to the mental body, that's where the mind looks at what's coming in and it makes a decision based on past history of whether it decides that something is good, bad, or indifferent. And if it is good, it sends it in one direction. If it's bad, it sends it another. Neutral is just everything passes through and it has no emotional impact whatsoever. It just is what it is. But it is our minds that decide whether we are going to have a negative or positive emotional response to something. And it is our minds that have been trained and manipulated to trigger these negative emotional responses that we're being led around by. Even those of us who think of ourselves as being enlightened, keep track when you are on Facebook or any other social media. Keep track of the things that you're drawn to and you are passing on to others. And what is the nature of that thing? Is it something negative? How often are you passing on positive stuff? How often are you drawn into and saying, this is awesome? You know, let's pass on the positive stuff. And versus how often are you passing on stuff that is really, truly negative? It's all about how horrible we are to this or that or the other thing, and this something is, you know, wrong here, and these people are bad and are in danger, and these animals are in danger, and all of this stuff is going so wrong. And I'm not saying that those are invalid things, okay? But we are being led around, redirected, and distracted intentionally by those things. That is where the chains come in. We are literally being led around by these emotional attachments that we have been programmed to have for years. We've been programmed to this. And the powers that be, the cabal powers that be, are totally aware of what they're doing and how they have programmed us to be sensitive to and be triggered by all this negative stuff. And as soon as we are triggered, boy, we can be led anywhere, pointed anywhere we want to be. And if you notice, one of their most used tactics is to say something or do something or show you something that's absolutely outrageous. You get all bent out of shape about it and all excited and all upset, angry, whatever it is you're going to be, because you are believing whatever they have said. Oh my God, this is awful. Then it turns around that it was a bald-faced lie. There wasn't a bit of it that was truth. And they knew it when they put it out there. But it doesn't matter because you have been hooked and you now believe it to be true. And you have attached that feeling and that emotion to whatever that issue is. That's how we are sucked in all the time. And we have to get wiser to it and look at it and say, I don't think so. Where are you getting your information from? Now, it's happening more and more. If any of you are on Twitter and you're watching what's going on there, you are seeing how, yeah, Mary, negative ripples is absolute. You are seeing how things are playing out in real time, and you are seeing more and more that there are people that are stepping back and saying, all right, show me some proof. Where is your backup for this? Or I don't think so because it really makes no sense. Or I'm waiting to hear the rest of the story. You know, just like recently, and the fact that she made it to Congress just still blows my mind. I thought she would be eaten up and spit out, and instead she's running the show, and that's Alexandria Cortez. And she goes and publishes these pictures of her crying outside a fence, supposedly about the situation of children at the border. She wasn't even there. She was outside a damn parking lot in Florida, playing the game, acting like she was sobbing. And people bought it. This is what I'm talking about. Anybody that did research went on the internet and said, wait a minute, where is this? What's this going on? You know, because she has a reputation now for being a flat out purveyor of falsehoods and fabulous stuff, you know. So these are the things that we need to get freed from, get free of, extract ourselves from. So the meditation we're going to go in today is it's going to be doing two things. All right. One, you're going to be shown during this meditation the area in which you are most emotionally triggered, attached. Yeah, you're most emotionally attached to, aligned with, that you are being controlled by. What is the thing that is controlling you and your responses and your thoughts and your actions the most, that is taking your freedom away from you, your true freedom? That is the first thing that you're going to be shown when we get into the meditation. And Saint Germaine is going to do that. All right, so once we get through that thing and you have identified that, and who's doing the release? Saint Germaine going to do the whole thing, right? Okay. So yeah, so then Saint Germaine is going to move through a release process, and we're going to call in Zachariel, who's the angel of surrender, to assist Saint Germaine in helping you to surrender that, to release it, to get over it, to become less stuck in it, so that you can be detached and not as impacted by it emotionally, and you can start taking back your mind and yourself and your own actions. So that's the first two things that are going to happen. And then finally, after that, then we're going to go into another part of the meditation in which you are going to receive a message from your team or from Saint Germaine. You're going to receive a message, and it's a message for you, and it has to do with your ascension, your rise up into your true self, your divine self, and your Christed consciousness, and all of that. That's the message that's going to come through to you. You're going to have a specific message. It's not the same for everybody. And remember, when we go through these things, some of you may not know you're receiving a message at the time. You just may feel like out of it or whatever. But later on, you will come to know what that is, what you've been shown or what you've been told. Somewhere it's going to come into play. So don't think that nothing's happening just because you aren't seeing pictures in your mind or somebody's not talking to you in your head. you will get it. So that all being said, let's go ahead now and get into the temple so that we can have all this good stuff coming to us. One more deep breath in through the nose, now through the mouth. Get us centered. Almighty and Most High Father, Mother God, divine source of all that is and light of the great central sun, I call upon you now as I invoke the Heartlight Temple of angelic healing once more to surround all of us in the Heartlight Temple for this Hump Day meditation on freedom. To surround us all who are here now and all who ever will be as their angels, as their guardians and higher selves are holding the place of all that are not physically here now. Heavenly Father, I thank you for your presence here with us, and I intend that this temple shall remain surrounding us and providing a sacred space for the work we're about to do and the messages we're about to receive to support true discernment shall remain fully in place now and continuously throughout the entirety of the session of meditation, to be released only 10 minutes after we have ended the Zoom session and recording. So be it in your name, dear God, and so it is. Beloved Archangel Michael, please come now and remove everything in resistance to the presence of this temple. Sever these attachments. There's somebody who's coming to the temple at some point. They're not here now at this time, but I'm letting you know that you have a rather strong entity presence connected to you. Yeah, I'm getting that it's a false light agent, just so you know. All right. Beloved Archangel Michael, I call upon you and your blue lightning angels now to surround this temple space, surrounding each one of us in totality and above and below, to shield, defend, and protect this temple space from all intrusion, interference, and attachment that is not of the light or in service to it, is of entity, origin, intent, creation, design, or purpose, or in service to self, such is other than in service to our highest good, or is other than in complete support of the goals and purposes for which this session was convened and this Hump Day Freedom meditation was created, and for which the temple has been invoked this day. Several connections to these things from beyond the boundaries of the temple, Michael, and remove them from us. Remove all of these things that are connected to us. Remove them from the temple and from us, Michael. In all of our names, I revoke permission for these things to have access to us. I invoke my authority over them all. And I command you all out from us and out of this temple into the vortex of divine source. Beloved Archangel Michael and your blue lightning angels, please take these all into the vortex of divine source for divine dispensation and the light and transmutation by it. Beloved Archangel Michael, I intend that your protection of this temple is maintained and sustained from without and from within, now and continuously as long as the temple is present for this session, and until it is dissolved after the session is complete. So be it and so it is. Please cleanse the inside of the temple according to your protective order for it. As without, so within. Please purify this temple and everything in it. All of us. And that's the other thing to remember too. It isn't just a matter of the cabal controlling you and controlling your mind and direction. As soon as you are aligned with and admitting and expressing these negative emotions, what comes to you? Entities feeding upon them. Beloved Archangel Michael, please clear, cut and cauterize all cords of attachment from us now, and send them all out beyond the boundaries of this temple throughout the entirety of this session. For all those physically here now and for all those in the future. These are severed from us. And anything, they have no authority in our domains. I declare it so, and I exercise my authority over you. Get out. You have none. Get thee from these people. Remove these from us, Michael, and your team in their entirety, in totality, from the causal to the physical planes, past, present, future, on our timelines. Let's make us purified here, please. And remove from us everything sponsoring these attachments. Disconnect us from their source. Past, present, future on our timelines. To the nth generation, beyond to infinity. I intend that anything directing these attachments or sponsoring or desiring them is made inert and impotent in our domains. In perpetuity. At all levels, dimensions, and planes of existence and causation, past, present, future on our timeline. In every iteration in which these things now exist or ever would be recreated. To the nth generation, beyond to infinity, and so get out. Anything creating invitations or permissions is null and void and impotent in all of our domains. To the nth generation, Michael, cancel the invitations, period, end of story. There is no reason for any of these things to be here. Entities, cords of attachment from other people and things, no. Beloved Saint Germaine, beloved Zachariel, please clear from us and Michael everything that would interfere with our ability to receive what we are here to receive this day. Beloved ones, in totality. Take it all either into the light where it needs to be to serve the highest good of all involved. It shall be maintained outside the boundaries of these temple walls throughout this session and beyond. So be it and so it is. I call now upon beloved angels, archangels, ascended masters, beloved Jesus, Mother Mary, Holy Spirit, higher selves, guardians, and guides of all assembled here now or at any time in which they view this video and this session and meditation. And high, holy, loving seraphim angels, I welcome you all to the Heartlight Temple of Angelic Healing now. And I thank you for your presence here with us and your support of what we are here to do today. Please remove from us and from this temple everything in resistance to the purpose for which we are here today. So be it and so it is. Please fill this temple with your light and love, your purity. And bring us all, dear ones, into divine alignment and balance. Thank you. If there's anything more to be done before we start this, then please do so now, beloved ones, for us to have a successful experience today. Thank you. All right. So now, just sit back, close your eyes, and allow Saint Germaine to do his work. The first thing he's going to do is show you the area in which you are most often emotionally triggered and controlled, where your responses are automatic and you're not even thinking about what you're doing or how you're doing it. That is a program that is just controlling you, and that you need to work on releasing. So that's the first thing that is going to come. So I am turning over the mic, so to speak, to Saint Germaine now, and let him do his work, because I'm going to receive as much as the rest of you. All right, so now you should have some idea of what it is that you need to work on, that is one of the really deeply held emotional triggers for you, that allows you to be controlled and led in different directions and distracts you from moving forward. And for me, that hanging on thing, I've been working on it, it's getting better, is powerlessness, helplessness, things going on that you have no real world ability to do anything about. That you have to surrender to and allow, God and the angels and whatever to take care of it for you. That sense of helplessness that you get, when your kids are in trouble, and there's nothing you can do, and you just have to allow. It doesn't mean you can get your nose into the middle of the business and try and do something, But in the end, really, there isn't anything that is there for you to do except to step back and just send love to the situation. And that's where I am with things, is having to learn to send love to the situation. It's not enough to be in acceptance. Okay, sure, whatever, you know, whatever, go for it, do what you're going to do. No, you need to send a little bit more love and appreciation into the situation than that. So that's my thing. So if any of you have gotten a hit and an idea, if you know what your message is and you feel like sharing it here, please do. And we can do, let's do that on the chat board for now, because we're going to move on with the rest of this part of it. So for those of you who you have all received the message about what it is that is still hanging in there that has such a tight hold on you. And so now Saint Germaine is going to come through and he's going to help you release it. He's going to just snip those cords and dissolve away the wounds and the fears and all of the programming that has been making this so hard to release. So let's let Saint Germaine take over again. Close my eyes and sit back. You done, Saint Germaine? Zachariah, Saint Germaine. Awesome. All right, take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and blow out through your mouth to anchor this in to your system and to claim it. You can just say out loud, I claim this healing for myself. Yes, I so do. All right. So the next step, peeps, is we're going to go up into the second level of the temple. For those of you who have been there before, you know where we're going. And for those who have not, just follow along. We're going up. This is like a Grecian temple, enclosed, and all of the blocks and columns and everything that create it are made of. I guess you might think of it as snow white alabaster or marble, but it's actually blocks made of pure divine light, the pure light of divine source which surrounds us. And we are going up into the next level of this temple. And in this next level of the temple, there is a beautiful, grand portico extending out from the temple with a beautiful railing of stone on this temple. And from this beautiful portico, we can all stand out there and we can overlook creation. We can overlook the tapestry as it's being woven and see what's going on. Or we can overlook and see, be led to see what we need to see individually in our own personal tapestry, what the message is for us about these things that we need to clear and release and let go of, or whatever the message is that has to do with us attaining our freedom. Because that's our job. That's what we came here to do. That's why we're here in this skin suit in this lifetime, is to attain our freedom and to move along, to bring others with us. That's why we're here. We got to bring everybody with us, and so that's what we're going to do. So just close your eyes now and picture yourself. Beautiful snow white stone portico with the railing around it. And the stone railing around it, and you're overlooking, there's beautiful blue skies and clouds, white clouds, and you can just see out in front of you like forever. And what you see is totally up to you and what your team and Saint Germaine and the angels are here to show you, what they want you to see, what you need to know or do or be, change. What to expect as you move forward. Whatever the message is, this is where you're going to receive it. So just picture yourself standing here overlooking this scene and be prepared now for Saint Germaine to give you each the message that you are meant to receive today. And me. So it is. All right, is everybody done, Saint Germaine? Okay. So apparently everybody has received their message. Take a few deep breaths in to, and as you complete the receiving and the understanding, and please don't hesitate to ask Saint Germaine any questions or your higher self about whether you've got it right or what you think you've received. And we can talk about this as soon as everybody is done and ready, and you have sort of come into the present enough to share with us and ask any questions that you have. All right, so I will share, my message has to do with this powerlessness and what it's really all about and what I need to do in order to get past this issue that has really been bugging me. And the message basically for me is what we create, we can uncreate. If I'm creating something that is not serving me or is fostered by this issue of powerlessness, then I'm creating it and bringing it to me, and I have the ability to uncreate it and send it back to the void where it came from. So that was my message in how to deal with this issue. So you are all muted right now. So if any of you have something you want to say or share with us, just unmute yourself or raise your hand, one or the other, and then and share. Or put something in chat. Whether it's the message you received, whether it is the item. There's Naima. What came to you, my dear?
I didn't get anything because I fell asleep.
You always do that. You did get something. You just don't know what it is.
I don't know what I've got. I fell asleep.
You are so funny with that.
Oh
You just sort of knock
my
you
God.
out. That is funny. Well, they do that when your conscious mind is going to get in the way of receiving.
Right.
So you have gotten it all, and I'm just getting that you will probably be shown to you in your dreams.
Okay. Yeah. That's why I get messages when I fall asleep.
Yeah. Which is funny because you don't get that dream vision stuff when you're in the meditation and fall asleep, but you do at night. So that's weird that it works that way. But that's funny. Yeah. That's funny, but good. All right.
But I look forward to it tonight when I fall asleep again.
Yeah. Awesome. Anybody else have anything they want to share?
Yeah, for myself, I slept all day, so I was working all night, so I'm okay. I was had a very, very powerful vision of Saint Germaine, and very symbolic, like old piece of I think it was like silver piece, like money, and it's all about healing the timeline from the past until now to regain my gift and powers too. And I will see the following days, how it will turn out. But it was very special.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, this was not meant to be a one and done. This is like, okay, you're here now. This is how you need to move forward in order to get where you're supposed to be, which is, and freedom is the ultimate place we need to be so that we are all free individuals. So thank you, Mike.
Okay.
Anyone else? Courtney? Are you there?
I'm here, Chris. I was
Mhm.
in my space.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that happens a lot when I do these meditations. Is everybody just sort of gets so zoned out. It's like, oh my goodness.
Totally, totally in my space, trying to interpret what's being revealed because it's not, it's, coming, it's not, how can I describe this? It's not very focused and it's fast flashes and they morph.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like peeking through, I
Mm.
guess. Does that make sense to you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
baby steps, baby steps.
Mm-hmm. Good. Good, good, good. Awesome.
Like Michael, I also had Saint Germaine come,
Mm-hmm.
and he showed me coins,
Mm-hmm.
but he showed me some symbols on coins and told me to look back into the 12th and 13th century
Wow.
because there's some symbols on coins.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's connected.
I saw them too.
Yeah, it's connected to the Templar stuff, and I have some Templar coins. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is.
There's some
I've been-
magic by psychometry
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to be able to get by touching those Templar coins.
Mm.
So
I
that
don't know.
was kind of
Maybe.
I've been seeing triangles. I know it sounds weird, right? But I keep seeing the number 3, pattern 333 everywhere. And when I meditate, I get these golden triangles that the tips touch,
Mm.
but I don't know what it means. And just now, I think what was being shown to me was like my grandfather, he passed away, but like I saw his face. And then I saw like other people that I think must have been my ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was almost like a black and white image that was kind of transparent, but I could see their faces and then they would change and I'd see another face. Does that make sense? But I've been trying to kind of work with ancestral lines
Mm-hmm.
through healing with the emotion code. So I don't know if they're starting to cross over. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the ancestral lines, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's stuck there and comes to us from the ancestral lines. But obviously you're being shown that because there are things there that you need to just let go of. Does she
Right.
need to just stop with the ancestral stuff? I'm getting a yes on that. Forget about the ancestral stuff. Has nothing
Yeah.
to do with your moving into your ascension. There may be some emotional baggage that's connected to ancestral experiences buried in your DNA, but the ancestors themselves are,
Right.
yeah, just deal with
Okay.
letting go of the emotions. Don't worry about where it comes from.
Okay.
Okay, to release that. And I think that's part of what the healing that was given to you was, to help you separate out from that a little
Okay.
bit, release that focus and move into where your focus needs to be. So it'll be interesting. The fact that you're getting those golden triangles is telling me that there is some sacred geometry in your future. Getting a big
Yeah.
yes right now from Saint Germaine. Yeah.
What does that even mean? I don't even know.
Well, sacred geometry, there is, there's geometry. You know what that is. You got triangles and hexagons and all kinds of different shapes. And so rather than me try and explain it to you, because there are shapes, 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, multi-dimensional shapes, geometric shapes that have strong spiritual, metaphysical properties. and uses. So yeah, I would just say to you, look up Sacred Geometry. If there's a book
I
that you
will.
can find, get the book, Sacred Geometry. Find a book on Sacred Geometry and start getting acquainted with it. Then there are things like, what are the mandalas?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, mandalas are perfect examples of sacred geometry.
Okay.
Okay, so start going in that direction. All right, so Mary left. She didn't want to share. That's all right. So, all right, anybody have anything else to say before we close out the temple and get done? I thank you that y'all made it here tonight. And it was pretty powerful what we saw. I know that what I got was, it was like kind of a validation. I was kind of thinking that I was making the mess for myself in a lot of ways, but I got that validation from Saint Germaine today. I was creating it so I can uncreate it and send it back to the void. So that's what we're going to do from now on. Take my power back.
Yeah.
All right, people, I love you so much. And I thank you for being here with me. And this is always a treat for me to do this every week. And I thank you for your presence. Have a great 4th of July weekend. And
Love you, Chris.
love you too. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a nice week.
Yep, you too.